Maeve Reston is CNN's national political reporter, and Kristen Houser is the chief public affairs officer for RALIANCE, a national partnership dedicated to ending sexual violence. So, ladies, thank you for being here for this important conversation. But Maeve, first to you, just the politics of this. You know, yes, those two Republicans are speaking out and saying there should be an investigation, but a lot of other Republicans have sidestepped this or essentially said, you know, he's denied it. We're moving on. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, it was amazing. Our Capitol Hill team talked to so many Republicans who just said either Trump's denial is enough for me, or, you know, folks like Marco Rubio said, I don't even know what you're talking about. Senator Tim Scott saying that he hadn't, you know, taken the time to look into it. So I don't know what that says about where we are after the Me Too movement, but I mean, it is significant that these two senators have come forward. Joni Ernst, of course, is the victim of rape herself and has talked about how important it is for women to come forward when they're ready to face their demons. And so, you know, we'll see what happens, but it doesn't sound like there's a lot of willpower. You know, most of the time it seems like they'd just rather turn a blind eye to this.
To your point on where we are, I want to ask Kristen you this question, and again, just reminding everyone, you know, this is the President of the United States who has been accused of rape. And again, he has denied it and even went as far at one point of saying she's not even my type. We, of course, have reported on other women coming forward with allegations against he continues to deny. But this is quite serious. So I just wanted your thoughts on this.
Well, it is serious, but we also have to keep in mind that people who behave in these ways and commit these crimes are the ones that are making decisions about who, what, where and how they're happening, and they ensure most of the time that there's a low likelihood of being caught. So having a denial is pretty standard. Not having witnesses or documentary evidence is pretty much a signature mark. And having two people that it's one word against the other is also what's very common. There's nothing unusual about this allegation to make it suspect of not being consistent with what sexual assault looks like.
But Kristen, to Senator Romney's point about, you know, he essentially saying, I don't even know who would conduct this. Like, what would an investigation into allegations like this even look like? I mean, again, this is the President of the United States.
Right. I think that's a great question, because the normal things we think of in terms of criminal investigation, you know, the statute of limitations is expired. Same for civil suits. So if there needs to be a congressional hearing to look into ethical behavior or something along those lines, you know, that is not in our realm. I think it's fine to say we want an investigation, but any investigation needs to be using the right ruler about recognizing what sexual assault really looks like. And it's not something that you should expect to have third-party, independent backups of the victim's story. When you have a delayed report, which is normal and par for the course, particularly when you have an offender who is a high-profile person, you're going to be left with, do you believe the veracity of what the victim is reporting and what their account is, or are you going to believe somebody who denies the allegation? It really just comes down to that. So she has already provided names of other people who had an outcry from her immediately after it happened. One of them advised her to not go forward with a report. There's nothing wrong with investigating that, but in terms of what the intended outcome of that is, I think that should be determined before an investigation digs into the lives of these people.
So, okay, pause on what's happening now. Let's go back to the height of 2016. Remember that debate? Trump got a bunch of women together who, you know, who claimed that former President Bill Clinton had sexually assaulted them, and one of the women was Juanita Broaddrick. And so, just reminding all of you, this is what she said.
That actions speak louder than words. Mr. Trump may have said some bad words, but Bill Clinton raped me and Hillary Clinton threatened me. I don't think there's any comparison.
And Trump called Broaddrick courageous for telling her story. So if Broaddrick is courageous, why isn't Carol courageous as well?
And to just respond the way the president has responded to it is so it's just so mind-boggling, and I think that Republicans have to be really careful here, because what we did see in 2018 during the midterms was all of these women, mothers and daughters, coming out to the polls for the first time because they didn't like the way that Trump handled the allegations against himself, and they didn't like the way that he was talking about women in the Oval Office. So there is a risk here for Republicans not taking this seriously if they want to win in 2020. And just like Juanita Broaddrick needed to be heard, you know, these allegations need to be heard, and obviously we have 2 senators saying they should be investigated.
Yep. Maeve Rustin, thank you very much. And Kristen Houser, thank you as well. Nice to have you on, ladies, both of you.